Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome as tonight Spike Sports presents Bellator MMA. From the SSE Arena, Wembley here in London, we begin the night with 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing the blue corner first at 5'7", weighing in 135.5 pounds. His professional record 4-5. He fights out of London, England. Presenting Daley, the Ram Man, Kulucan. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 136 pounds even as a professional. Early on, 2 wins, just 1 defeat. Originally, do Brasil, fighting now out of London, Diego, the Barbarian Barbosa. In charge of the action, referee Brian Miner.
Let's check out the tail of the tape.
And look at here, the reach advantage of Barbosa. Can he use that with the jab?
Always look early for butterflies. Guys who haven't necessarily fought on TV, haven't fought in a big arena, even if it is the prelims, even if it is early in the night. There's a different, has to be a different feel.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you want those first fights to be relaxed. You want to feel as much like the gym as it possibly can, and that's hard to simulate here.
So when you're 22 years old, as Barbosa is in the red gloves, 24. Kulucan is.
Diving takedown from the outside. He's got to set it up better. Especially against the guy with the range advantage. Getting aggressive. You see what he's doing. He's making Kulucan fight from the outside and take shots without setting them up. This is where Kulucan wants it. Inside working his wrestling, but not able to get it down yet. Nice move by Barbosa.
Is the amount of bounce, the extra activity, kind of a tell about experience and or nerves?
And look at how tight somebody is. Not so much how they're moving. Sometimes that's just a style thing. How tight are they when they're moving? Are they fluid in the way they're moving? That, to me, is the tell of nervousness. You know, Augusto Sakai, heavyweight fighting on our main card. The guy just moves a lot. Part of his style, very light on his feet. Doesn't mean he's nervous. It's how stiff are you? How much energy are you using when you move? Going for the heel hook.
Off the outside trip immediately. He went for it again. And Barbosa immediately knew he had been had.
Now the heel hook, it doesn't hurt at all until it really, really hurts. Good torque on that by Kulucan. Couldn't find the range early, but he got it on the ground where he wanted it. And from guard, watch him load the leg. He hikes up that leg. That's perfect heel hook position, turns toward it, looks and cranks, and that's all she wrote for Barbosa.
Instant recognition of position.
Look at it here. He kicks it up. That's the advantage of having those short limbs, shorter legs. It's easier to step over, get in heel hook position right here. Look at it and crank it. That's the combination you want. Beautiful job by Kulucan. First round submission.
That learning curve in your 3rd, 4th pro fight. Michael C. Williams makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a heel hook. Official time, 2 minutes, 18 seconds into round number 1. The winner by submission, Sally, the Ramman Kulucan. Bellator MMA now presents 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division, brought to you tonight by Spike Sports. We introduce the blue corner first. At 6'1", weighing in 185.5 pounds. His professional record, 4 wins with 3 losses, fighting out of Manchester, England, marching Matt Boy Prostko. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6'2", weighing in 185.75 pounds. As a professional, 9 victories, just 1 defeat, fighting out of London, presenting my C-Pass Shipman. And the referee in charge of the action, Brian Miner.
Let's check out the tail of the tape.
And Prostko, 4 years older at 30. Shipman only 26.
Prostko and the Blue Gloves came to the sport much later. Strong takedown by Mike Shipman immediately.
Already around the guard. That's a bad sign.
I know you like it when a guy, early in his career, has 9 wins and there's 5 knockouts and 4 submissions.
Means he's a great finisher, but hasn't had that gut check long performance that tells me what he has inside. That's the difference.
He's also been a fast starter, as you can see.
Putting a ton of pressure on early. Shipman's fighting like it's a 1-round fight. Prostko finally getting back to butterfly guard. He's got to elevate. The problem is he can't sweep to his right. He's got to sweep to his left. Around the guard again.
He might have been thinking head and arm for a second. Look at him move away from the fence.
Smart move. He knows he has a scrambler here. Not a guy who's going to go guard and look for submission, but a guy's going to push off and try to get up. Shipman just putting a ton of pressure on him right now.
He's taking what the defense is giving him right now.
Nice right hand. He's definitely going all in, trying to finish Prostko early.
Prostko gave his back. He's got a long way to go in the round to do that. Taking a lot of damage for 2 minutes.
We're on the other side, Shipman burning a lot of gas. If you're Prostko, you're thinking, hey, just get out of round 1, see what this guy has left. Nice knee. He's looking up like that was illegal. That was a legal shot. Welcome to the new rules. He was not down.
Prostko not really in position to be debating the new rules right now. That second one got through.
Oh, good right hand.
Shipman been very disciplined here.
This might be all over. Ref's taking a real close look.
We're done. That was a mauling. And Mike Shipman hasn't had that tough test yet. He still hasn't, and that's why.
Make that 10 wins, 10 finishes. He went all in with that bet, and it paid off. This is the pacing of the fight, just all over Prostko. You see that knee got in by the ear. That's when the ref steps in and starts warning him. Prostko tried to answer back to maybe get that reprieve, but that just opened him up for the right hand. Referee lets him take a couple more before stopping it, but it was that pacing. No one shot looked like it really rocked him or took him off his feet. He just couldn't get any space from Shipman. Couldn't get him off of him. That's the price he paid. As soon as he curls up like this, It's physical surrender. Referee had seen enough. I think it was a good stoppage.
That was
Shipman really doubled down on round 1.
That was all offense from Mike Shipman in a variety of different ways. Whatever on the ground, on the side, moving into side control, moving into half guard, trying to get there. When that wasn't there, he just went to the ground and pound, and the ground and pound opened that up. Michael C. Williams will make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end officially. 2 minutes, 39 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, Mike Shipman. Tonight here at the SSE Arena, Wembley, Bellator MMA now goes to 3 5-minute rounds at 150 pounds. Introducing the blue corner first at 5'8", weighing in 148 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 10 wins, 8 losses with 1 draw. Fighting out of London, Jeremy Ninja Petley. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 149 3/4 pounds. As a professional, he brings 6 victories, 3 defeats. He too fights out of London, England, presenting Chase E.T. Morton. In charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy.
Let's check out the tail of the tape.
And look at the height advantage for Chase Morton, 6 foot to Jeremy Petley's 5'8".
The response that John McCarthy gets around the world is always, it's so cool to see.
He doesn't really react to it. It's yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. It's kind of an anti-Ron Burgundy thing, but yeah.
Totally.
Now, Chase Morton in the red gloves, karate background, very unusual styles, got that point fighting style. His last fight was a loss at the O2 Arena last July. He had won 5 of 6.
Starting out aggressive, chasing after Petley. He has a body lock, but more hanging on than going for a throw or a takedown. Generally read it when a fighter goes in if it's, oh, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm forced to do because it isn't going my way. In a good position for the body lock, and he gets it. Almost has Phil now, trying to slide it over.
Well defended.
Powered out enough to get half guard.
Step number 1 for Petley, get the striker to the ground.
Yep. Wide open half guard, he can get around that pretty easily if he goes for it. He's content to stay here for right now.
Is this what Linton Vassell's going to want to do with Liam McGeary?
100,000%.
Is Liam McGeary too content to play on his back?
100,000%. Once again, that's been his kryptonite.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. That's been his kryptonite in Bellator so far. Is his willingness to go to his back, lack of takedown defense, has a lot of faith in his jiu-jitsu. It's a great submission game, but Linton Vassell has that more basic, run the ball 5 yards every time, a lot like Phil Davis. You saw the time he had when he took the belt from Liam McGeary.
Would it be fair to say that Linton Vassell's game has evolved at a faster pace? Not that he's necessarily ahead of Liam McGeary,
right,
but his game has evolved faster.
I think he's affected more by his losses. He really went out of his way to get better. After his first failed title shot, made him a much better fighter. I think that's been the reason he's advanced so quickly, but it's a big test for him tonight. Around the guard again.
Jerry Petley trying to advance, and he has.
Emmanuel Newton, he was 1 round away.
Nice.
One hook in, now it's 2. Morton just showing his inexperience on the ground, not making the right steps. He's going from bad to worse.
He had a submission loss last July here in Bellator. A similar spot.
There's a turn to get his back on the ground. Sitting up and forward like that won't help him. All that does is expose your neck.
That seems like a bad habit you would easily be broken of.
Depends on where you're training.
Which is what makes you wonder that he tried it, so that he tried to sit up like that.
Yeah. He's got to put all his weight back and try and pick one side. Yeah, sitting up doesn't do it. You have to crank, put all your bridge and put all your weight back. Now you can get out, but hunting hard for rear naked. It's almost under the chin. Just trying to free his left hand and he'll have it.
Identical spot he was in last year.
He just went gable grip and pulled, this would be over. He's trying to lock up the classic Mataleon. It's just not deep enough yet. Morton keeps grabbing that hand.
Chase Morton trying to make it to the end of the round.
Transition. We won't get it.
Chase Morton survives and advances.
This was the beginning. Body lock, takedown, beautiful job. And from there, every step got worse for Chase Morton. Side control, mount, back mount. Almost had the rear naked more than once, but just a little too committed to the perfect Mataleon finish. Holding on to the bicep, he had just cranked his own hand, gone to the gable grip, his fight could be over, and getting the escape at the end. But most of that fight on the ground, which was not good for Chase Morton.
Chase Morton in the red gloves clearly lost the first round, but he seemed frustrated with himself, angry at how the first round went.
Anger will only get you so far. You need the technical solutions to solve the problems on the ground, and he didn't show that in round 1. Showed relative inexperience on the ground. Just read a quote from Rickson Gracie. It said, "Jiu-Jitsu's perfect. People make mistakes." Always try to keep that in mind. No one ever got submitted because they had too much technique. That's the problem Morton's having on the ground. And personally, I never disagree with Rickson Gracie. That's just a rule of life.
I think
in general.
If Rickson Gracie were here and he said the sky is green, I'd be like, yeah,
just not. You know,
I think
not and take the private.
The way I look at it, right?
Yeah, totally. I can see that. Very nice guy. Intense, nice guy.
Wouldn't want to show up at his house or anything.
No, show up at his gym with a camera crew. We all know that story. Look it up if you don't know it. Yoji Andre.
Just Google Yoji Andre.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes up.
And don't look at the pictures right away, because that is a spoiler alert to how the story went.
Great story.
My favorite part is his such loyalty to Nobuhiko Takada that he was like, yeah, sure, I'll go do that.
That was like, what were you thinking?
You remember before, I mean, this is before all of our times, so there used to be a show in the old days called Wild Kingdom, and there'd be a guy in the studio, and he would send the other guy out, hey, go poke that wild boar with you.
Right, exactly. I'll sit here in the studio, same thing. What did Petley with this attack? What happens? He realized it worked in round 1.
Yes, he's trying. Is he giving too much to triangle?
Yeah, he's giving a little too much time. Remember, Chase Morton was confident with his striking. That's what led to the body lock. He was able to set it up a little bit, baiting Chase Morton into a striking game. Now Morton not going for it. Hanging back and making Petley work. Paying dividends for him.
Takedown defense isn't going to win you a round, especially when you lost the first one already.
Nice left hand.
You see the range that Morton wants is very apparent.
A gigantic factor, a difference between the takedown in wrestling, be it freestyle, Greco, or collegiate, and MMA is caution stalling. You hear that all the time in wrestling. You're not allowed to move back. You're always dealing with someone who's kind of pushing toward you, who's always in front of you. MMA, they don't have to do that. So it makes setting up the takedown much more difficult. A lot of people don't realize that. Some great wrestlers don't make a great transition. They're used to somebody who cannot really go backwards. Now he's got him down. He's in guard still. Now half guard. Has a lot less time to work with. Just giving up his back. One hook in. Body triangle.
Almost had it.
So far, a smarter round two for Chase Morton, for sure.
Now is when you wonder about how much energy Petley expended with all those takedown attempts that didn't go anywhere earlier in the round. He's been slower to move out of range now.
Problem with a submission-heavy game. He hasn't learned a lot of ground and pound. It's all or nothing. If you get up, you defend 20 submission attempts, choke, anything else. You get up, you're okay. You're not cut, you're not bleeding, you're not hurt. Shipman's put in a lot. Petley's put in a lot of energy and hasn't been able to really wear Morton down. Hasn't bruised him, hasn't cut him, hasn't hurt him.
He's getting farther and farther away from where he was in round one.
Yep.
Much better second round for Chase Morton.
Yep.
This is where he was in round one. Went right back for it and got it.
Got the takedown, but didn't spend as much time in dominant position. Morton able to move earlier. I think Petley a little more tired, didn't quite secure his position. And Morton this time able to take advantage. Will it get worse in round three? That's the question.
Enough for Chase Morton to win the second round?
I think so, have it all tied up.
That's the best shot of the fight.
Nice kick, both from the left side. This guy with a karate background, that's what you have to watch for, those lead tools. Lead jab, lead foot. Went for an outside trip himself, couldn't get it. And it's a bad tactical mistake early in the round.
Was that not fighting your body style?
Yeah. 1,000%.
That's a lot of percent so far.
You're doing great.
But I'm saying 1,000%.
You're doing great. You're doing fantastic.
Mathematically, I would question it.
You question my logic a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. No doubt.
I was told there would be no math.
Heard that a lot when I was teaching.
These kids want to learn that?
No, they do not. Now, what Morton's been able to do in round two is he can turn and explode at the right time, create just enough scramble room and get out. If you're Petley, you want to take away those angles, take away that space with your hips.
Side control, he's got some possibilities here.
Making the right move when you get that underhook move. You want to put weight on the waist, that's what he's doing.
See what he was thinking, but didn't have the position.
Now, if you're Morton, you stand up here. Do not want to get in a ground battle and get out scrambled, and that's exactly what happened.
Chase Morton is all over the place.
Not making the right decisions at the right time. Easy step over.
Yeah, this would be a, you'd be questioning the play calling here.
Yeah.
In a very close fight where any of these 10 or 15 second segments could decide.
Now you're in position if you're Petley where you can ice around and win the fight on my scorecard. Doesn't have to do anything great, doesn't have to get a submission, just has to keep looking for it, keep putting pressure on. He'll coast to a decision. Easy pass.
Got aggressive. Step over. There it is. Now Jeremy Petley going downhill. Full mount in a close fight, winning this third round.
Here's coach yelling, stay on top. Sound advice, and that's what Morton should have done earlier. Now he's in a position where I think he has to finish to win the fight. He really has to unload and do damage.
At the very least, he's in a position where he can finish it as opposed to being on the ground underneath Petley.
Maybe win the round back if he really hurts him, cuts him up, rocks him. He's got to do something. Just outpointing him at this point is not good enough.
Morton trying to set up the range. Wonder about fatigue now. Chant for Jeremy. One last level change and takedown be enough to ice it.
Unless Morton can get back to his feet and land something big and put him down, I think that's it.
Petley fought the more disciplined fight. He fought the smarter fight. Will it be enough?
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Your first judge, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 29-28. Judge Eric Cologne scores the fight 30-27. And Judge David Torelli sees the fight 30-26. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Jeremy Ninja Petley.
And sometimes they get it right.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight presented by Spike Sports. Bellator MMA now goes to the middleweight division. Set for 3 5-minute rounds, we introduce the blue corner first. At 6'1", weighing in 184.5 pounds. His professional record, undefeated early on at 2-0. He fights out of Birmingham, England, presenting Fabian the Assassin Edwards. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 185 pounds even. His professional record also undefeated at 2-0. Originally from Gdansk, Poland, he fights out of Watford, England, Cejrowski. In charge of the action, your referee, Dan Mergliata.
Check out the tail of the tape as we move to middleweight.
And look at the tremendous reach advantage for Fabian Edwards. Let's see how he uses it. One thing you got to remember is at the weigh-ins, Edwards very dismissive of Cejrowski. Got in his face, was pretty disrespectful up there. Now he's got a chance to back it up.
What's your reaction when you see a guy carry himself that way?
They're either really secure or really insecure. It's one or the other. Fighters put pressure on themselves. I mean, that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, there's media pressure, there's pressure from outside the fans. But you put pressure on yourself with how you behave outside of the cage. You increase the stakes either way.
An example of a guy who uses his reach extremely well, and maybe someone who doesn't.
Someone who uses his reach extremely well. Well, let's go for a guy who got hurt tonight, supposed to be on this card. MVP has a great understanding of range, great with his lead tools. He knows exactly where his opponent is. I would say McGeary is an example of a guy who doesn't do it well because he likes to brawl so much. He tends to step forward and negate his own reach advantage. He doesn't make fighters come to him. Kendall Grove, once again, such a brawler that he doesn't use his range of effectively. His last couple fights, he's been much better with that. We saw against Joey Beltran, he looked like a boxer using that lead jab. But for a lot of his career, I want to move forward and bang, even though I'm 6'6", and guys can't get to me.
Wow, that's using it.
And Edwards so far backing up the disrespect. Doing a great job. Cejrowski, no answer right now for the range attack of Edwards. Great stuff on the feet from him.
Maybe Edwards is 24 years old. Cejrowski late to the sport.
Cejrowski hasn't really sold out for a takedown yet. Dove in for that double leg, tried to get the body lock. It's here at the outside, he's getting teed off on.
If he rushes in, the knee is there. Speaking of MVP.
And there's, he's rushing in. Once again, surprised he didn't do that earlier, but we knew he'd do it eventually. So that powerful build helps him.
So disappointing when Michael Venom Page got hurt because that was such an intriguing matchup. Like, there were a lot of people starting to climb on that. Well, this would be the first loss bandwagon. Derek Anderson could be that guy because of his style.
Incredibly dangerous. Oh, look at that by Edwards, holding the wrist and landing the knee.
Don't see that often.
This is target practice.
There's the knee. Good night. That was spectacular. Fabian Edwards says, you don't know, now you know.
You're probably sick of us saying this at home, but 185 wide open, dangerous strikers in that division. Plenty of room for this guy, I'm telling you right now. That's a great performance.
We have an opportunity on this stage to make a statement. You can't make it any louder than Fabian Edwards just did.
Everybody loves the jump knee. Everybody loves a knockout like this. It was the idea that it was set up with great punching and kicking combinations. That's what stands out to me. Held the wrist, landing the knees here. At this point, Cejrowski is just in desperation mode right here, moving straight backwards. Bang, right there. That is all she wrote.
You heard the crowd gasping at the replay. Remember, Jimmy, bang, earlier in the round, the coaches say if he starts to come in, the knee is there, the knee is there.
And this time, he caught a guy who was going backward. Look at this here, bang. Set it up beautifully, eyes wide shut. That's how you land a flying knee, my friend.
Real time.
That sounded like two coconuts coming together. That was a brutal one.
What is it with guys from England and the jump knee?
Whatever it is, keep doing it. We love putting it on TV.
Just 24 years old, Fabian Edwards steps into the spotlight like he's belonged here his whole life.
Now that's the one the manager calls Rich Chow tomorrow and goes, hey, so what do you think of my guy?
What do you mean tomorrow? Rich,
yeah, what time is it?
Michael C. Williams will make official what we all just saw.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the knee lands and the fight officially comes to an end. 3 minutes, 44 seconds into round number 1. The winner by knockout, still undefeated, Fabian the Assassin Edwards.
I'll say this, nicknames are getting better. Let's check out the tail of the tape.
For all the Snatch fans out there, Bullet Tooth Kayani, I love that one. Nathan Jones, much more experienced than Umar Bullet Tooth Kayani.
Surprised the referees haven't started positioning for nicknames.
Big John McCarthy, thank you. Thank you. All done.
That's
done
not as
deal.
much a nickname
Finished.
as it is. You know Herzog would be first in line.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's Googling things right now.
And both these guys swinging recklessly.
What does that tell you in the first 10, 15 seconds? Yeah.
A little bit of nerves, trying to get it out of their system.
That'll calm your nerves. And a lot of other things. Dan Mergliata will not be officiating the main event tonight, but he was the third man.
Wow.
Wow, that's... Have you ever seen a point taken that early?
No, I never have, especially in this position. Man, that's a questionable call because they're in a clinch position. You know, a lot of knees happen there. And one straight between the legs, and that was the first one. Man, that's a gutsy call, one could say.
So obviously, you know, my file isn't 5% as deep as yours, but I don't remember one without a warning.
No, I don't either. Especially in that position where it wasn't like on the ground and obviously just stomped him or something like that, where it was clearly intentional. That's an interesting call. Now, what you're hoping at this point is it doesn't become the deciding factor of the fight.
For Nathan Jones, you get the takedown, you work it here, you could be on your way to a 10-8 round and you're off and running.
Your opponent's fighting for a draw at that point.
I was about to say Dan Mergliata knows a little bit about controversies. He was the third man with Paul Daley and Josh Koscheck.
Yeah. Picked Paul Daley up like a toy at the end of that fight. I'll never forget how easily he just lifted him. He's huge.
It was one of those moments that you just, sometimes you see something and did that really just happen?
But in another sense, you could feel something like that was going to happen. The frustration of Paul Daley in that fight. You knew it was going to express itself somehow. You're going Darce choke. Got to get that arm in deep. Put your hand on the bicep, arm in deep. Now he's going to sink his hips down. He can finish it from here. Kayani has long legs. He can get some breathing room here if he pushes back. So he's trying to do it with his hands and the legs. Here's corner saying, go flat, put your hips down. That's what he's not doing right now. A little too much space right now, but he can still finish from here. Bring your hips down, your chest down, brings that arm even further down. It gives your opponent less space. Hips right now a little too high. And he's giving up on it.
Loses patience.
Might go back to it again. It's easier to get when you're around the guard. Back into full guard.
Kayani's already had a point taken away. Now spent the rest of the round on his back. He's trying to survive the darts. Full submission specialist.
Edwards staying busy on top. Kayani triangle hunting again. You can tell by the wrist control. Rule of thumb is triangles come from wrist control, arm bars come from elbow control. You know which one the guy's going for by where he's grabbing.
Does the guy's ground and pound give away that he's a submission guy?
Yeah, completely. He's just throwing just enough to get around the guard. Not trying to do a ton of damage.
I'm going to run it on first down. It's just
yeah, exactly. It's that handoff nobody really believes, you know?
All right, 2nd and 8. I'm ready to go.
Good rear naked choke. Not underneath the chin yet, but he can still finish.
Now he's under. There it is. A, B, C, D, E, checkmate.
Point didn't matter. He finishes this one in the first round.
He lost the point, he lost his feet, and then he lost the fight.
So one thing, you get a battle of submission specialists. The guy who has the advantage on the ground is going to win. And throughout that fight, Nathan Jones had the advantage.
This was the beginning of the end. The level change in the takedown.
Yep, right here, good positioning. Got around the guard easily, went for the Darce choke. Couldn't finish it, but always heavy with the top pressure, always moving one step ahead of Kayani. That rear naked choke, that was doom. Long, tall, strong, excellent job with the hips, plenty of pressure. Once that arm slipped underneath the chin, there was absolutely nowhere to go, and everybody knew it. Right here. Look at the pressure he's putting on with his hips in the back. That's what makes the rear naked work.
One subtle move allowed him to readjust. Nathan Jones goes to 11-5. Michael C. Williams makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rear naked choke brings on the tap. Official time, 4 minutes, 35 seconds into round number 1. The winner by submission, Nathan, Mr. Jones.
To Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight from the SSE Arena, Wembley, we now go to the flyweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds, brought to you tonight by Spike Sports. We introduce the blue corner at 5'4", weighing in 125.2 pounds. His professional record, 6 wins, just 1 defeat. From Boston, Lincolnshire, England, presenting Jamie, the Powerhouse Powell. And across the cage, his adversary, out of the red corner, at 5'5", weighing in 125.5 pounds. As a professional, he's undefeated, 9 wins, no defeats. Originally from Sweden, now fighting out of London, presenting Amir, the Prince Al-Baz. In charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy.
Really less of a nickname than his simple statement of fact. Let's check out the tail of the tape.
And look at the reach advantage of Amir Al-Baz. But the way they got into it at the weigh-in, I don't think either guy's going to be stepping back.
Swedes known around the world for their voracious temper.
Yeah. Common thing. You know the expression, don't get all Swedish on me? Yeah, see, that's what that means. But Al-Baz, the nickname Prince, came to the weigh-in with a crown on, and Powell snatched it right off his head. They almost got into it right there. That's what I said, Al-Baz has a reach advantage, but I think he's going to want to go at Powell a little bit.
Both heads have rested uneasy leading up to this one.
Nice job of the takedown. Being aggressive, going for full mount very early, and he goes back. It's a smart move.
Al-Baz's 9 wins, all finishes.
Just a nice pass by Al-Baz.
And the reality, even though they're fighting at 125, the other division where there is opportunity is at bantamweight.
Yeah, very true. And by the way, with a champion who has been nothing short of dominant in his last few fights. Inverted triangle. Hard to finish from here, but you can do it. How? Got to angle your hips. He's a little too straight on to do it. He wants to angle his hips out to the side a little bit more. You notice when Liam McGeary gets that position, he's almost always off to the side a little bit, twisted with his body. Right now, a little too straight in north-south. Would be the best way to put it. Still, you want to free that right arm. You don't want him going back to the triangle over and over again.
As dominant as Eduardo Dantas has been, and he's got the swagger, he's got the whole thing. He needs that Darian Caldwell fight, in my view, to be viewed as what he is.
Problem is the last couple of challengers, you know, in Galvão and Warren, those guys had a lot of miles on them. We'd seen what they could do. He knew what they could do. Darren Caldwell still very much that X factor. Incredibly physically gifted. It's gonna be a great fight.
That's ahead of us. Patricio Pitbull and Daniel Weichel's rematch is ahead of us.
I like that. Not letting your opponent get full guard, not letting him rest, not letting him relax, always pushing that pass, making him work.
Because if you make him play defense.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about their offense. Al-Baz so far doing a great job with the passes. I like his balance, I like his speed and timing so far. Powell's been on the defensive throughout this fight.
He's stalking.
Yep. He's moving well. He's seen the movements. He's so far been a step ahead of Powell. Powell finally getting his chance on top. Let's see what he can do with it. England for the armbar, yeah.
Use the fence, you can't stick your toes in it. But you can use it as if it were a wall. briefly went southpaw. Oh, Jimmy Smith famously asked him, Mohegan's son, last year, can we get a second round tonight? Finally do.
Brief,
like that.
Yeah, brief exchanges on the feet. Most of this fight on the ground after this beautiful throw. Kind of an outside trip.
Round 1 to Al-Baz.
10-9 Al-Baz. Excellent stuff on the ground. Fast guard several times. Powell had his moment at the end, but not enough to swing the round.
Really loves to switch stances too.
I think if you're Powell, you learned your lesson. You want this fight on the feet, and if you're on the ground, you got to be on top. Work your ground and pound. You don't want a jiu-jitsu battle with this guy. So far, he's looked slick.
Back fist. You know, you see, it's not even hard to see it in Al-Baz. He's 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Very confident. Good timing on that takedown. So one sign is how hard you make your guy work for the takedown. Now, it's an armbar difficulty here. If you can get that arm and stretch it back, he doesn't go for it. That would have been a tough finish. Creative one, he can go for it. Once again, we see Powell on defense. Moving north-south, might be trying to isolate the arm. Arm of Powell, now he lets it go. Switches sides here. Usually when you switch sides like that from north-south to side control again, you're looking to isolate one arm or the other. He just transitioned to the other side. North-south without the knees, hard to use in MMA. Back in the Pride days, man, they would get north-south and just knee your head right through the rest of your body. Mark Coleman, Igor Vovchanchin for the old school fans.
Wild West days.
Yeah. And a lot of MMA, I mean, they just didn't have standardized rules at the time. You'd show up at the fight and they'd say, oh yeah, by the way, you can do this.
Guy standing over these two. Right at the center of the creation of the unified rules.
Might be looking for him to turn and get a Darce choke. And he's stepping over like he wants a Darce. That was all Powell needed to get on top. Look at that. One step ahead. Al-Baz just able to counter everything Powell's doing.
And he's given Powell, in this spot on the ground, he's given him so many things to think about already.
Seems to really like this north-south position.
Powell trying to trap the head. Half-hearted effort.
2 minutes left out there, 2 minutes.
Inches back to that side again.
A lot of people refer to it as twister side control. It's a side control when you're facing the hips. You don't see a lot in MMA. Marcelo Garcia loved that position in Jiu-Jitsu. He's the one that really popularized it.
What does it give you opportunities to go for that you wouldn't have if you were on the other side of the arm?
Easy mount, easy controlled hips, and a lot of times you set up the Kimura from there. Looks like he's trying to isolate the arm. It makes that Kimura position very easy. Not committing to it though. I'm surprised with the record he has, 9 wins, 9 finishes. He's not pressing any one particular finish. He's not doing the jiu-jitsu version of headhunting. He's not looking for the finish necessarily. He's content to work his position, wear his man out.
Al-Baz had no answer. He's almost waiting for what Al-Baz is going to do next.
Yeah. And hoping whatever that is gives him a chance to escape, because he's not making his own exit right now.
Hoping he studied for whatever the next question on the test is.
Trapping the arm again. Doesn't commit to it. Now going for that Darce. Cranking down on the head.
Al-Baz has not let go of his grip of this fight.
And it's been mostly on the ground. What a beautiful spinning back fist. It landed against the fence, took away a lot of the power, but on the ground, he's just been dominating Powell. Powell, that was his only brief moment of offense. And that didn't last. Look at the arm come out, boom. And that is the sum total of Powell's offense in round 2, virtually non-existent. I'd go 10-8 in round 2.
I'm sorry, did you just say you went 10-8?
10-8 in round 2. Total wipeout. Those rule changes, this allowed me to really express my inner 10-8s. And I don't appreciate your constant criticism of who I am on the inside.
Some guys are tight with their wallets when it's time to pay the check. Some guys are tight when it comes to that 10-8. They have trouble making that little slow.
I can say it. I just said it. I can say it. I'm comfortable with my 10-8. Okay? I've come to terms with it. You clearly have not, and that's still an issue, and that's okay.
I'm thrilled you've come to the other side.
Must feel good to point out the shortcomings of others.
When I was the newbie, you were staring at me when I would write the little 8s on my things. What is this guy?
Now that's just me hazing you, new guy. You know, that's all it was. I liked when you used to write down armbar question mark. That was my favorite. Mount question mark. Now it's over. You know all this stuff. Different days. We're back to where we expected to be.
Jamie Powell's going to be writing some of this stuff down. Like, what do I do here?
Yeah,
what do I do in this? I've never seen this before.
His escapes have been virtually non-existent. Not shrinking his hips. Once again, that step over that can isolate the arm. Risky, so he's not going for it. Now, he can take the back here. He really puts his hips in. He doesn't do it in time. So far, this fight's looked like a free jiu-jitsu private for Powell. So Al-Baz has been passing his guard like it wasn't there.
And that way, it's a good deal. I mean, to get paid. It is. On that topic, you walk into the building tonight, Royce Grace is doing a signing and taking pictures, and he just, lines around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's really, when you realize how the early days and early years of the sport were so dark ages, to see the next generation, the worship and the love they have for Royce is really kind of cool. He tamed the Wild West with jiu-jitsu.
It's almost like comparing a modern pilot and the Wright brothers. The first time you did it, it was dangerous. First time you did it, it might get you killed.
That's right.
Now it's routine. That's what everybody talks about. When you know the old school guys like I do, and you talk about Royce, and they go, man, it took guts to get in there. It took guts. No one knew what was going to happen. The courage it took for a 170-pound kid at the time to do that is off the chart.
With no rules.
These guys know where they're going. The path has been walked on by a lot of great athletes. It hadn't been at the time. That's what's so impressive about it.
It would have been ingrained in him and the entire family from the time they could have anything ingrained in their heads that this will win.
And right now, it is winning for Al-Baz.
It has been from minute 1 to minute 15, which we're about to enter.
Might be academic if he can get this choke. It's under the chin. This is done.
Yeah, he's got the grip now.
Powell's holding on for dear life. He got out. Thought that was over.
Hey, Powell gets full marks here.
Yeah.
For staying in this fight.
But, you know, the fans know the code. When you talk about heart and guts, you're losing. And we're showing great heart and guts from Powell.
The comedian Robert Klein used to say that was always the tell when he'd be watching a game with someone. He's a great competitor. Yeah, he competites very well. He's going to be a ball player.
That means he's really upset when he loses. Yeah, and he's talking.
He is.
Talking about the disrespect at the weigh-in, probably.
You said earlier, it's interesting a guy with a lot of finishes isn't trying to finish. Maybe he wasn't trying to finish.
Yep.
Maybe he was trying to send a message.
Yep, put a little hurt on him. And send a message, hey, I can go 15 hard minutes. I'm not slowing down.
He's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 30-25. While judges David Torelli and Eric Cologne both see the fight in the same 30-26. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Amir, the Prince Al-Baz. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at the SSE Arena, Wembley, presented by Spike Sports, Bellator MMA now goes to the heavyweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner at 6'2", weighing in 227.5 pounds. His professional record 7-9. He fights out of Sheffield, England, Dan Kulucan. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6'1", weighing in 260.75 pounds. As a professional, he brings 17 wins, 5 losses with 1 draw. He fights out of Southend-on-Sea, England, presenting Stop Crazy Pair Economou. In charge of the action, referee Dan Mergliata.
Let's check out the tail of the tape, 33 pounds. That'll buy you a nice lunch for 2 here in London, but that's a huge difference in this one.
That's right, Economou 260.75, a huge advantage over his opponent. How does he use it?
Economou stalking immediately.
Negate the weight advantage to get on top. You don't want to end up carrying this in a single leg.
Exactly.
Economou now thinking guillotine. Cranking on it. Giving up on the single leg because of the guillotine.
He's cranking.
Got it.
It's done.
Would the weight be an advantage? Yes, it would.
Unable to be taken down with a single leg, used his weight as an advantage, drove the fight against the fence. Went guillotine into a neck crank and quick work for Stab Economou.
All started from the takedown attempt right here. Committed everything to that high crotch and could not finish it. That's when the weight of Economou started to take its toll. Able to sprawl, able to keep that weight on his opponent's back where it wore him out. And then here's the guillotine. You'll notice when he lets go of the single leg, when he lets go of that high crotch position, that's when he's in big trouble. That's when he fully commits. Right here, all of his weight to the guillotine and no way out. Submission for Economou in the first round. That's as close as you get to a backflip at 260 pounds.
You had to, if you blinked, you missed it. To Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tap comes by way of a guillotine choke. Official time. 1 minute, 5 seconds into round number 1. The winner by submission stop. Crazy Pay Economou.
The Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Transformers Last Night. Rethink your heroes. Transformers Last Night, only in theaters June 21st.
And what I've had highlighted is the name. We've talked about the pressure. We've talked about the expectations. How does he handle it tonight?
A night we've been waiting for months and months. It begins, as always, with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the SSC Arena Wembley as Miller Lite presents the return of Bellator MMA to London, England. Tonight on Spike, we begin now, set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner first at 5'11", weighing in 164 pounds. Tonight, making his professional debut, he fights out of Everett, Washington, DJ Griffin. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 165 pounds as a professional. Early on, he stands at 0-1, fighting out of Long Beach, California. He hails from Miami, Florida, presenting Baby Spice. In charge of the action, your referee, Dan Mergliata.
Baby Slice lost his pro debut, Jimmy, but he was winning the fight. He was in great shape until he got into a position he had not been in before.
Yeah, fell for a submission. It's a tactical error. You can go back to the gym and correct that.
Comes out aggressive again.
I'm curious if DJ Griffin goes to the ground looking to see if those weaknesses are still there. That's more of a kickboxing background. Presses off as soon as he gets the chance.
Overhand right. That didn't miss by much.
He said, I don't have my dad's power, but he throws like his dad. Big overhands and uppercuts. Not a lot of setup punches.
Is there a common thread in a strong takedown for Baby Slice? Is there a common thread among the Antonio McKee team body shot guys?
They tend to be physically very, very well prepared. Antonio is a cardio freak. And so they tend to have good combinations and they tend to have excellent conditioning.
That's the last guy you want to see coming into the room at 6 a.m. saying, hey, we're going running. See that hill over there?
Yeah. Well, that's Antonio.
He's got that arm tied up.
He might be out. No, he's still defending. I saw him go limp for a sec. Thought he went out. Good flexibility so far by DJ. Look at those legs coming up. Baby Slice has to be careful here.
Almost crucifix. He had that arm really tied up.
Now his left arm is very vulnerable in this position. Got to keep him from walking up and getting the arm bar there because he's in the angle to get it. And he's going for a key lock and guard. That's never going to work.
Logistically explain why.
You can't unless you're around the guard. You'll never get enough torque with your hips.
This is what we saw the first time from Baby Slice. You saw flashes of greatness.
Still seeing those technical errors. With his head down and his hips up. Good job walking on the triangle. He's still vulnerable to it, though.
He's dangling that arm, too.
You know what? Yeah. I didn't like what he was seeing there.
Antonio McKee, of course, here. AJ McKee is here. James Gallagher is here. We'll let that marinate for a second.
Nice left hook. That clipped his chin. Don't think it hurt him. But he's getting it back up. That one hurt him.
He was backing up before that shot landed. Baby Slice pouring it on now.
That one still in the fight. He can't afford to eat many more of these.
He will not be in the fight much longer if these keep landing. And Murgliata about a half step closer than he was the first time.
In arm triangle position, but not going for it. Nice knees.
Good use of the knee. This is very close. Baby Slice approaching the finish line, and he crosses it.
A year after his father's death, so much emotion after that win. Get that monkey off your back. He's excited, as he should be.
Sometimes the torch does not get passed. Sometimes you have to take it.
That's a relieved man right there.
That is so much weight off those very young, talented shoulders.
And it was the power punches. He earned the name Slice. That left hand, look at it. That's what hurt Griffin. Down he goes. A couple of good right hands on the ground, but that was not a flush shot. That just clipped him. That's just natural heavy-handedness. And just unloading short elbows, forearms. None of these home run punches, but enough that Dan Murgliata has seen enough. Great aggression by Slice. Never let DJ Griffin off the hook. I like his instincts. Filling in with a little more training, a little more technique. Great first win for Baby Slice.
But you always remember your first.
All my family, Tiny baby, love you too, girl.
We know who that message was for. The first win for Baby Slice. Michael C. Williams makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the end comes 3 minutes, 40 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, Baby Slice.
When you win for the first time, sometimes you don't realize one of the perks of the gig is getting to talk to Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with your winner, Baby Slice. Slice, you got to tell me, a year after your dad's passing, he was supposed to fight here. The emotions of getting that win, how does it feel?
Man, it feels great. You know, I was just prepared. I worked hard, I trained hard. I just want to thank all my sponsors, Bad Boy. I want to thank London for having me, all the Bellator staff. Scott, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy, for this interview. And that's what I need. I just want to thank my family, my coach, and Tiny Baby. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I love you, girl.
You talked about, I don't hit like my dad. My dad was a heavyweight, I'm not. But you went out there throwing big punches, right hand, left hook. How did it feel to connect?
Well, I knew my cardio was good. And like I said, if I connect with him, he's going to try to shoot in. and I defended the takedown multiple times. I defended a triangle, an armbar, and I was just ready. I was prepared. I knew once I landed cleanly, the fight was going to be over.
The ovation you got from this London crowd, what does that mean to you, man?
I love it, man. I love London. Thank you, London, for having me. Thanks for the support. Like you said earlier, my dad was going to fight here, so this is much respect to him. This fight was for him. You know, I love you, Pops. I know you was with me in this cage. Thank you, Icy Mike, AJ Mercenary McKee, my coach Antonio McKee. Without those guys, I wouldn't have made it this far, and I wouldn't have been confident in my stand-up and my ground defense. Thank you, London. I love you guys.
You heard it, baby. Slice, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a hand.
Let's check out the tail of the tape in this welterweight fight.
And look at the height, 6 foot to 6'2", both guys tall for 170 pounds.
Alex Lahori could not have been much more impressive his last time out. So Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA on Spike now moves to the welterweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner first. At 6'2", weighing in 169.4 pounds, his professional record 14-14. He fights out of London, England, presenting Vinny. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 170 pounds even. Just off his successful Bellator debut, he returns tonight with 11 professional victories, just 1 defeat. From Paris, France, he fights now out of London, England, introducing Alex the Kid Lahori. In charge of the action, referee Brian Miner.
Alex Lahori just 2.5 years into his pro career, 11-1 on a 7-fight win streak. Strong start.
Already landed his first combination, easy first takedown, but Vinny going for the heel hooks in good position to get it. Good job by Lahori, keeping weight on that left leg. Now turning into a sweep, excellent job. Still committed to the leg lock, has a nearby opportunity here too. Suddenly Lahori's on defense. He's got to free that foot. You see Danny working for it. He has to free that foot out of the triangle in order to get anything. You go toe hold on the other side. But on that side, he needs to free the foot.
What are you looking for?
Now toe hold on the other side. Got to crank it down. He's got to commit his hips to it. Lahori's got to spin out of this position.
What are you looking for from the guy defending? Are you looking at his demeanor?
Weight on the attacked leg and how he moves. It's about mobility here. Stabilize and put your weight down. Right now we can't do that, so he has to move an angle, take the pressure off his foot. He's able to get out.
Alan Fletcher had him in some dangerous spots in that first round.
Now that leg's free. Still in leg lock position though.
So many stops and starts in the career of Dan Vinny. He said this is his moment. He's already been cut open the eyebrow, you see. That left elbow at that spot, that's the easiest to cut.
And I was wondering, Lahori's got to keep his back flat. Couldn't do it. If I'm Lahori, I back out of this position. Dan Vinny has shown he can be dangerous on the ground. You don't want to play with a guy like that. Going again for the leg lock. Good patience so far from Lahori. Oh, giving up his neck.
Yes, he did. And Lahori pounces on it.
Hips weren't in the right position. Vinny spinning at the right time, but still in that leg lock position. And he keeps going after is that left leg of Lahori. What he does is he elevates with the left leg, pushes him off, and attacks the left leg of Lahori. A little bit of elevation. That's what takes the weight off the foot, and then he goes for the leg lock. Really surprised Lahori's staying down here. I wouldn't.
He's had a couple opportunities now to get up.
Good right hands.
Oh, that one got to as well.
Leg lock again. This time a heel hook. Lahori's trying to wipe the wrists, keep the hands away from the foot. It's one way to get out. Problem with legs locks, they're very all or nothing. You give up your positioning when you go for a leg lock. See how vulnerable he is to the right hand.
Can you be too stubborn?
100%. You could argue that Vinny has been too stubborn.
Yeah. Almost as if the fight he's talked about as being all or nothing, that what he thought was going to be his only opportunity.
Yeah, that's the way he's fighting. Giving up his back again.
It's been interesting to see a young fighter like Lahori challenged in back-to-back fights against more experienced, submission-oriented fighters.
I tell you right now, tough round to score so far. Vinny's gone for the finish more often. Lahori's done more damage. But Lahori's had his moments on the ground as well. That's what slightly has him ahead on my card at the moment. That's a choice not a lot of fighters would make. Pulling open guard, looking for that submission. That shows a lot of faith in his submission game.
Or maybe a lack of faith in the other parts.
Yes. Lahori was landing a lot of good punches on the feet.
It was a gallant round for Dan Vinny, and he was focused in what he was trying to do. He just did not get it done. When the submission attempts fell short, Lahori's ground and pound was pretty spot on.
Yeah, short, accurate. That's the shot that cut him up. That short elbow, forearm strike. Right there. That's what elbows do. They cut you up, and he's taking advantage of some of the fundamental mistakes of Dan Vinny on the ground. Almost been choked a couple times. Like you said, it's sort of an all or nothing kind of style. He's going hard for the leg locks, but making fundamental mistakes to give up his back.
How many times did he use that expression with us, all or nothing, talking about this fight? Dan Vinny said, I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down. This is the fight that's going to determine the trajectory of my career. It's moving day, one way or the other. He turned to boxing, did Dan Vinny, because he was a crazy pro wrestling fan as a kid, and he kind of got too old to be practicing pro wrestling moves on his friends in the living room. Again, Vinny, very comfortable. You can see where he wants to fight, and I don't know if Lahori's going to go that way. He's tempted, you can see. He felt like he could win the fight down there. Lahori, who said he was sent by his mother from France to have that better life to live in England. He was a soccer player. Oh, the big right hand. Don't get it. And the soccer player just pitched another shutout. Beautiful job with the right hand. Accurate, powerful. I think he had enough of the ground game of Vinny. So he put everything into the kickboxing attack, and it worked. The young man who rose from Area 93 is 12-1 with a bullet.
In a division full of dangerous strikers, full of guys with power and accuracy, these are the kind of skills you need to compete. And he has some accurate, powerful bang. Look at that last one on the chin. That's the one the referee saw that he knew this was over. That first shot right by the ear, but that one on the chin, that's what dropped Vinny. He's in survival mode, and that one, you saw the eyes go blank. Has no idea what's coming next.
And if you're wondering about Brian Minor, remember, Dan Vinny wanted that fight on the ground earlier. He could have been playing possum. That's why Brian Minor let that last shot get in, and then he did the right thing and put a halt to it.
It's all in the eyes, and you could read the knockout from there. Lahori giving him a little chest bump, a little shout at the end to let him know who's the man. That was a great knockout.
If you don't know the name, learn it. The kid, Alex Lahori, is growing into a man in front of our eyes. So Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the end comes 56 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, Alex the Kid Lahori.
Once upon a time, he couldn't play soccer in the UK because he didn't have any command of the English language. He has that. He has 8 straight wins. And what is better than that? Jimmy Smith in a family moment.
I'm here with your winner, Alex Lahori, and his mom. What does it mean to have her here to watch this victory? Great stadium, great knockout.
First of all, everyone needs to thank her for me being here. Because without her, I wouldn't be here. You know, it's a pleasure for me, you know. But the reason why I moved to England is because of her. She changed my life, you know. She made the right choice for me. I was too young to understand life. She made the right choice, and now look at me, I'm here, doing what I love to do. And look, she's here with me as well, so I'm blessed.
In a division full of heavy hitters, great knockout specialists like Paul Semtex, Daley, the champ Douglas Lima, what does it mean to put those skills on display tonight?
Man, it's a lot, you know. Hard work, dedication, that's what I always say. You know, I keep working hard, every day I'm in the gym. The guys are new wave, you know, they're the best. Obviously for this camp, I went to Tiger Muay Thai to train. Big shout out to everyone at Tiger Muay Thai. Did my conditioning as well at Uni 27 in Thailand as well. They helped me out a lot, man. It was lovely, man. They helped me prepare, and that's why I performed the way I did today.
Let's give it up to Alex Lahori and his mom tonight. Great performance. Give it up for him. And look at the weight. Augusto Sakai, much heavier than Cheick Kongo. Like I said, he moves a lot. But Cheick Kongo, the smaller man in there tonight.
Cheick Kongo on a roll. He has won 8 of his 10 fights in Bellator. He has won 4 straight. Looking for win number 27.
From the SSC Arena, Wembley, Bellator MMA presented by Spike Sports now features heavyweights inside the Bellator cage, set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner first. At 6'4", he weighed in 263 3/4 pounds, near perfect as a professional. 9 victories, no losses with 1 draw. Hailing from Curitiba, Brazil, introducing Augusto Sakai. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6'4", weighing in 244 pounds even. The veteran professional tonight enters with 26 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws. Fighting out of Paris, France, presenting Cheick Kongo. In charge of the action, your referee, McJohn McCarthy.
Cheick Kongo is at the top of that list. Where do you think John McCarthy is?
It's ahead of all of them.
There have been different stages of the career of Cheick Kongo, and Augusto Sakai has pointed that out the last couple of days. Said Cheick Kongo isn't as aggressive as he used to be because he was in some real firefights earlier in his career, and so he's being more careful. He doesn't want any piece of me that way. Everybody remembers even the fight he won against Pat Barry, one of the greatest comebacks in MMA history.
Oh, his stand-up battle with Mirko Cro Cop, there are a dozen of them. I mean, they've been a lot of Muay Thai wars, and you get to a certain age, you don't want to go through that anymore. You start fighting a lot smarter. That's what Augusto Sakai has to be ready for. And I think it's going to be like this. Angle, 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 never stop moving. Don't give him that opportunity to drive you into the fence and take you down. Because Cheick Kongo has been using his takedown in recent fights, but he's not an outside kind of takedown. He pushes you against the fence and muscles you to the floor.
Cheick Kongo does not have a stoppage win in the last 2.5 years. But his wins have been dominant.
But you have to respect the stand-up still. You can't go in there thinking, oh, I'm just going to mix it up and take him out. You got to show that respect on the outside.
I'll tell you what, you got a huge crowd here, the SSC Arena, Wembley, that has seen some young prospects, some top prospects score some dynamic victories. They're not going to be as patient for the veterans. They have to keep up with the youngsters tonight.
And don't expect that to bother Cheick Kongo. This crowd can start booing and throwing stuff in the cage.
And that's also the difference with a veteran fighter, unaffected by the crowd.
Guys to beat him in Bellator. Vitaly Minakov, King Mo, they out-wrestled him. And made sure his takedown was not a factor. Sakai starting to get a little more confidence. I think that's key too, is keep Cheick Kongo's back against the fence. Once again, he's not a great outside shooter. He won't shoot that double leg from a mile away. He's got to get close to use it, which means he wants you against the fence.
Augusto Sakai, we talked about that last fight being the draw. That was a year ago. That's 1 year ago tomorrow. I hate at this particular moment to bring up that's the anniversary of the Melbourne Lenoff Carvalho fight. I don't know what was making me think of it.
Augusto Sakai, for his part, staying relaxed and patient.
Cheick Kongo sometimes fights like a guy, speaking of Brazil and Vale Tudo, like one of those fights that could go for hours.
Yeah.
That's the pace that he usually sets.
Sakai's doing, he's landed the only strikes of the fight, those leg kicks. Cheick Kongo literally hasn't landed anything.
And I'll tell you this, here's something we haven't seen, Jimmy. Cheick Kongo, if he has to fight from behind.
Yeah. Against Tony Johnson, a big physical wrestler, Cheick Kongo went for that takedown a lot, but I don't think he really respected the striking of Tony Johnson. So far, he's respecting the striking of Augusto Sakai. That's keeping him at a distance. He's not rushing into the clinch. He's not willing to bull forward and put him against the fence. Now Sakai's against the fence.
Augusto Sakai, undefeated. This is where many winning streaks have gone to die in the clinch of Cheick Kongo.
The moment Sakai gets an inch of space, he's got to circle and get out again. He can lose a lot of energy staying here. That's what Cheick does. He takes the energy out of his opponents, leaning on him, pushing him against the fence, and there he's out. Now Sakai using the fence. That's a little surprising. I thought he'd back out, given the opportunity. Going for the outside trip. Won't get it. This is the advantage Sakai has, being the bigger heavyweight. He's just as tall and he's heavier. Cheick Kongo cannot push him around like he's done other opponents.
It may not have been the most enjoyable round to watch, but it's also a very difficult one to score. You had Augusto Sakai, Jimmy, leading early in the first round. Did you finish it that way?
Yes, I did. 10-9 Augusto Sakai. Cheick briefly had him against the fence, but Sakai landed the leg kick. Sakai was able to reverse the position. He wins it 10-9, but not a lot to judge. Now, this is where Sakai doesn't want to be, is against the fence, where he can't move. And Cheick Kongo has that clinch option wherever he wants it.
Kongo lost the first round to Tony Johnson and came back and won that fight. And the level change. This time Sakai able to hold his ground against the fence. We come your way next on the 24th of June, the biggest night in Bellator history, before Sonnen and Silva, before Fedor and Matt Mitrione. We have two shows for the price of one. We'll come your way live and free on Spike for the light heavyweight world title fight between Phil Davis and Ryan Bader. Plus the return of James Gallagher, who is here in the building tonight, June 24th. We start at 8 o'clock on Spike.
Got a chance to train with Gallagher a couple of days ago. Excellent ground skills, a lot of fun to roll with. It's gonna be a great fight.
Did you get the feeling that, wow, this is a talented kid, wait till he gets older and bigger and stronger?
Yeah, very, very true.
James Gallagher is here tonight. AJ McKee is here tonight. Just throwing that out there.
Also, what Cheick Kongo does is he lures guys into this, well, I'm not getting taken down. Your back's against the fence, you're losing the fight. Sakai has to have a sense of urgency in these positions like that and go, hey, I gotta reverse, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get something done. Rounds and minutes slip away very easily against Cheick Kongo.
It's a rework. We've seen this before. He can run 2 or 3 of his fights together at the same time on multiple screens.
You'd pick any moment and it would look exactly the same. Guys don't realize they're behind until it's too late.
I didn't feel that coming. You're sitting in this spot with Cheick Kongo on top of you. You're waiting for a call from the governor is the only thing that's going to get you out. Yep. You are locked down. What is the perfect style to counter what Cheick Kongo does?
Move, 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 move. Never stop moving. That's it. Never stop moving. When Augusto Sakai puts his back against the fence, he hesitates for a second. That's the moment Cheick Kongo bull rushes and gets moved. If you don't have the takedown ability to stop, if you're not a King Mo, if you don't have that wrestling background to either take him down or really stop his takedown, you can never stand in front of Cheick Kongo for a second. That's when he'll push you against the fence. That's when this kind of game starts. It's when you're still targeted.
The only decision loss ever taken by Matt Mitrione, Cheick Kongo. Talked about the resume. You see it and you say, how has he been able to dominate and beat so many of the top fighters over the years and keep himself at the top of the list? This is how, grinding it out. There is more movement in the corner of Augusto Sakai right now than Augusto Sakai is able to move.
Yeah, totally. But you never, Augusto Sakai were getting kneed or punched or elbowed right here, he would freak out and do something. But you're almost like, well, I'm not getting hurt. It kind of lures you to sleep, and you don't have the sense of urgency you really need to take the fight away from Cheick Kongo.
John McCarthy, the people's choice.
See that move to his back. See how he turns and he's putting his back against the fence. Worst thing to do. Worst thing to do is put your back against the fence and stop moving against Cheick Kongo. Take the center and don't ever give it up.
Now, where is John McCarthy's latitude? We'll talk about this more after the break. But where's John McCarthy's latitude as far as separating this? Cheick Kongo knows how to do just enough. Augusto Sakai now, Jimmy, has been lured into the Cheick Kongo trap, and physically he's paying the price.
Cheick Kongo showing him the disadvantage of being the heavier guy. Right as he goes against the fence.
Right back, he's in the exact same spot. Backing up, backing up, backing up. Just like the Tony Johnson fight.
Have this fight tied up, just like Tony Johnson. Took the first round, couldn't hold it, because he ends up here.
The reason I brought up Matt Mitrione is because that's about an athletic heavyweight as there is, as far as moving around. And it's easy for us, for everybody, for all of you to say, move, Augusto. You haven't had Cheick Kongo lying on you for 10 minutes.
But it isn't even just the movement, his choice of placement, of moving
backwards, backwards.
If he planted his feet a little closer to the center of the cage, he'd be a lot more successful. He's letting himself get pushed back.
Augusto Sakai has won some fights, but Cheick Kongo knows in the cage exactly where his wins are, and that's where he brings the fight.
Sakai, you got to go back at this point. Take the center, put the fence to Cheick Kongo's back. Cheick Kongo will try and reverse this position if he can. Landing a low blow. John McCarthy doesn't buy it. Going for the outside trip. Once again, can't get it. There's the reversal. You stay there long enough, it's going to happen.
If you left marks on the mat inside the cage, the path that Cheick Kongo would have worn out, it would be so deep right now. From running in the exact same way out. And for those of you who've been reading about this fight on the internet for the last 5 hours and you're still hanging around, thank you. Because you knew what was coming. We didn't. It's got to be so frustrating to be Augusto Sakai to know exactly what Cheick Kongo was going to do and to not be able to stop it. Cheick Kongo protesting this time. They shouldn't have been separated.
Big John warned about grabbing the shorts. It's been a common complaint. Cheick Kongo's opponents.
He's going backwards. Yep. Backwards, backwards, backwards.
Something dramatic here to turn this fight around. So far, it's been a Cheick Kongo kind of fight.
Is there anyone alive that beats Cheick Kongo in the Cheick Kongo's appetite? Even now, so cautious. Augusto Sakai said, hey, Cheick Kongo fights more careful now. Well, yeah.
Gotta have a plan to stop that too. Yep.
Criticizing him in the media for fighting that way is not the same as stopping it.
Timeout. Our clock has not stopped. John McCarthy has called timeout because of, I think, an eye poke.
right, let's see if we can see it. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, right there. Only on the clock when he called timeout. I believe about 15 seconds left. So if you're Augusto Sakai, it's 15 seconds or nothing.
Last chance. Yep, that's what you've been reading about for the last few hours. And we all just got to experience it. It's called the Czech Kongo experience. You may lose the first round, but eventually you go back to doing what it is that you do, and it's very hard to beat.
I actually made it before the fight, and I just brought it for the fight. I figured it'd be 29-28. I was right.
You're impressive that way. Let's see if Michael C. Williams agrees.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge at cage side, Sal Diamato, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Sakai. Your second judge, Doug Crosby, scores the fight 29-28. He scores the fight for Kongo. Your third judge at cage side, Dave Torelli, scores the fight 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Kongo.
So let's check out the tail of the tape in the co-main event, a monster fight at 205.
Look at the height, 6'6" for Liam McGeary, 6'4" for Lyndon Vassell. Both guys very tall.
Lyndon Vassell 6-2 inside the Bellator cage. The title loss to Emmanuel Newton and the Dynamite tournament loss, the 2-round loss to King Mo that still haunts him.
Bellator MMA now presents tonight's co-main event, 3 5-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division. Brought to you by Spike Sports. We introduce first the blue corner at 6'4", weighing in 205 pounds even. The former Bellator light heavyweight world title challenger enters tonight with 17 professional victories, 5 defeats. From Milton Keynes, England, presenting Linton the Swan Vassell. And across the cage is adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6'6". He weighed in 205.5 pounds. Tonight, in his first ever fight here in London, he brings an impressive professional record with 12 victories, only 1 defeat. Fighting out of New York, he hails from Kingsland, England, presenting the former Bellator light heavyweight world champion, McGeary. And the referee in charge of the action, Dan Mergliano.
Best of friends,
all right, guys,
not right now.
The rules in the locker room. I want you to be my commands at all time. I want you to protect yourselves at all time. If you want to touch gloves for luck, do it now. Best of luck to both of you gentlemen.
There's no way they understood any part of that accent. Anyone in the building, not a chance.
It's pure Jersey, my friend.
Although Liam McGeary is obviously relocated to New York, lives in Brooklyn.
He can translate.
He's right, picked up some of that.
I think Liam McGeary is most dangerous in this fight on the feet. Lyndon Vassell slick on the ground. King Mo rocked him. That's what led to that victory in the tournament.
Quick laps by McGeary. Head hunting early. Now remember, King Mo, that loss that Lyndon Vassell had to King Mo, that is the sort of cloud or the question mark that hangs over this one as a #1 contender fight. Where is King Mo in that conversation? Yeah. Because remember, it was going to be King Mo and Ryan Bader originally at Madison Square Garden.
The fact that King Mo will fight any division, anywhere, anytime, you don't know exactly where to put him.
King Mo rocked Lyndon Vassell, as you said, and he won the fight. But the asterisk, not only was it a 2-round fight, Linton Vassell injured Kingmo in that fight to the point he could not fight in the finals at the first Dynamite.
Linton Vassell still wonders, could I have won a third round? I hurt him. Maybe I could have finished him in that round 3.
Neither one of them were able to compete and fight Phil Davis.
I'm waiting for a tweet from Kingmo that says no effing way, but I'll just keep my phone and be ready for that.
I think you're more likely to get a text.
Just call me.
Oh, nice one. Good shot from Morton Vassell. Remember, Liam McGeary got clipped early by Brett McDermott in that fight in February.
That problem's, let's say, paying attention to his defense. He gets a little too aggressive. Doesn't worry so much about the counter shot. Maybe he should.
The real issue for Liam McGeary has been the takedown defense, to the point it is a running joke among us. When we sit down with Liam McGeary, the first question is, hey, how's that takedown defense going? And you know, he laughs about it because that's a good leg kick right there on the inside. That wobble of Linton Vassell. And he laughs about it because that's Liam McGeary.
A lot of questions right here.
This is where we thought the fight would go. The question is, who's got the advantage? Liam McGeary has scored some slick submissions. Most notable among them, the win over Tito Ortiz from this spot.
And I've called it Hail Mary Jiu-Jitsu. That's what he has. He pulls a submission out of nowhere from a position you don't expect him to get it in. Phil Davis came out with a more traditional game and beat him. That's Linton Vassell's game a little bit more.
That's what made that fight so compelling against Phil Davis, is that there was always danger. Even with Phil Davis dominating and piling up rounds, Liam McGeary could always catch you, even in the final minute of the 5th round. Speaking of Ryan Bader and Phil Davis, when they are done for the light heavyweight world title on the biggest night in Bellator history, we move to pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden. Fedor Emelianenko and Matt Mitrione, Vanderlei Silva and Chael Sonnen. Michael Chandler will defend the lightweight title against Brent Primus. But almost all of us are going.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Shows, and it's almost to the point now we're 5 weeks out. You wonder about the height now, because all of us have all but guaranteed that Martin Lima is going to be the fight of the night. There's some other guys on that show. The pressure to steal the show at Madison Square Garden. That stage, believe me, Jimmy, I grew up in that building. I have called games in that building. It does things to athletes. And the great ones step up their game when they walk inside the building. Now you see the damage that was done in close. Looks like it's coming from the mouth of Linton Vassell.
McGeary now in a good position to stand up if he chooses to. Just pushing off with those legs, finally passing the half guard. Look at the angle of Liam McGeary. That's why he's so dangerous.
And see those legs. Talk about jiu-jitsu legs.
Yeah.
Head to the right. Okay, head position.
If he can step over, he can isolate the arm and go for it, and he will. Even though he's basically in half guard position here.
Yeah, the guy on top isn't necessarily the guy who is the most aggressive. Making this one a tough one to score. You can push off the fence. You can't stick your toes in between for leverage. Round one, what we expected. A very close first round. They had several different phases of it. How did you see it?
I saw it 10-9 Linton Vassell by the barest of margins. Could have gone either way to all three judges.
And McGeary starts round two as aggressive as he did round one. When Vassell was bleeding around the mouth, I think, trying to dive in and get on top. He took a heel. Good cutting. Liam McGeary.
First length, yeah. And he mixes it up so well. Jab, hook, leg kick. Never know what's coming, and that leg kick is always going to be a problem if you're in the opposite stance.
What he talked about for Phil Davis, he had that long layoff and he overtrained. He was training 4 times a day. He said he was exhausted by the time he got the Mohegan Sun to face Phil Davis. He was devastated. He could not fight at the O2 Arena last July. Great takedown by Vassell.
And rather than use that distance to explode back to his feet, he's content to play in guard. I thought he was doing extremely well on the feet. And now they're back on the ground where Vassell is confident.
To get that takedown so early in the round, too, it erases. Yep. That's a great first minute for Liam McGeary. You could erase that from the mind of the judges if you keep it down here.
It's so hard to keep a guy like Liam McGeary flat because he's so tall, he's so long. You put your weight forward to keep him flat, and then he can load you, bring you forward with his hips. Tough puzzle to solve. I'm going for the Americana. He's not going to get that without passing, and he's passed.
Nice.
Full mount.
He used that Americana attempt to step over into full mount.
Shades of the Phil Davis fight, where the game that runs 5 yards every play beats that Hail Mary game. Side control.
Why would he have given up that position?
Didn't feel stable. Didn't feel that he could hold it, so he gave it up. See what Liam McGeary has picked up under duress on the ground, on the bottom. And Vassell starting to pull away.
The difference here, having it along the fence, you're forcing Liam McGeary. You talked about that Hail Mary, just to push off the fence and try to create some room. He's spending so much time and energy on that. There are no points to be won for defense. It keeps you in the fight, but it's not going to win you the round.
Going to full mount.
Although against Tito Ortiz, that was a big 6.
Yep. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
He was. Tito Ortiz had that seatbelt position. He was in great shape.
So once again, working that Americana. Key lock. Liam McGeary trying to come out the back door from between the legs.
Really close.
His head is out. What can he do with it, though? He loves these scramble positions and wasn't able to keep him down.
Liam gives up that position. Wow, so easily. Said too comfortable. See, this time Vassell keeping his weight back, feeling more comfortable in the full mount.
Going hard for the Americana again. Turning, he can go armbar here. Only 30 seconds left. Wouldn't be surprised if he steps over and goes for it. Wouldn't necessarily do that in the middle of the round, but might do it at the end, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's in the neighborhood. It's tough with those long limbs of Liam McGeary. And even the first round was close, the second round was not. Not the first time Linton Vassell has been up 2 rounds to none in the biggest fight of his life. That's what happened against Emmanuel Newton, and he got caught.
Look at that blast double leg. We talk about the takedown defense of Liam McGeary. Doesn't look like it's improved enough to stop the takedown of Linton Vassell. But what's more troubling is this. Look at this leg step over, bam, right into mount. He's at dominant position throughout this fight. able to side mount, gone for the Americana once or twice. Just keeping the physical pressure on Liam McGeary. We talked about the difference in this fight might be who has improved more. Looks so far like Vassell. Liam's got to turn it around.
If you have Hail Mary Jiu-Jitsu and you're down 2 rounds to none, it won't be long before you're calling a Hail Mary. Now, we see it that way. No guarantee. Exactly. That the judges all saw round 1 for Vassell. It was a very close first round.
Yeah, this could easily be tied.
First couple of rounds, first 60, 90 seconds on the feet. Vassell got it to the ground and stayed out of danger. And he doesn't wait 60 seconds this time.
Easy.
Liam McGeary, he's got problems right now.
You know, it's one of those things where I've talked about it before, I'm talking about it again. When you're facing a superior wrestler, I don't care what their level is. You make them go to that second and third effort. You block the double leg art, they switch to a single, so at least it costs them some gas. That's an easy takedown. And if you give it up like that, I mean, it's hard to keep the fight where you want it.
Such extraordinary talent in Liam McGeary, but such a big hole in that game right there.
Yep.
And you're playing at this level. Yeah. You're talking about competing for a championship at this level. You can't have a hole in your game that big.
All right, so let's say, for example, if Liam McGeary wins this fight, let's say, you know, Vassell gets caught right now, could happen, you know, some crazy submission.
Can I jump ahead? If I'm Phil Davis or
Ryan Bader, I'm going, I can take this guy down with one hand. Those guys have national titles. Those guys were Division I. Those guys were, you know, looking at training with guys in the Olympic trials and alternates and stuff. They're on that level. It's this easy against Vassell, who never competed at that level. You're never going to get to the top of this Division 205 without being able to stop the takedown of a King Mo, of a Ryan Bader, of a Phil Davis.
Let me go back to the thing we talked about at the beginning. Liam McGeary won a world championship doing what he was doing. It's harder to get a guy to change. Vassell lost his opportunity for the world title and said, I need to change what I do and get better.
And when Liam McGeary talks about the loss of the title to Phil Davis, it's a dismissive. He didn't fight me, he didn't hurt me, I didn't even feel like I was in a fight. There was no acknowledgement of, man, tactically I need to fix X, Y, and Z. He talked about overtraining, but he was very dismissive of Phil Davis, and that's might be what has cost him this fight, because arm triangle's coming. Looks tight. See how much Vassell commits to it.
He got it! And Vassell not only scores the huge win, he becomes the first man to ever stop Liam McGeary.
Phil Davis had dominant position over Liam McGeary for 25 minutes and wasn't able to do that. Now they can be friends again, but that's impressive. Vassell, when he got top position, he did the most with it.
Tortoise and the hare, Jimmy. Tortoise and the hare in their careers.
In a sport that rewards exceptionalism over consistency, the consistency of Vassell's training paid off tonight. Full mount, arm triangle, look at it here. He's gonna put pressure on it. Almost step back into half guard. A lot of people are finishing it this way. Right there, pressure. Nowhere for Liam McGeary to go. He taps out to the arm triangle. That's a contender at 205, my friend.
Take a long look at that tap, because no one has ever seen it before. Vassell, 13 of his last 15, 7-2 inside the Bellator cage. And the former champ was outclassed pretty much start to finish in the co-main event tonight. To make a name, you got to beat some names. Vassell, the slow and steady climb, finally rewarded. He becomes the first man ever to stop Liam McGeary. Michael C. Williams makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a head and arm triangle. Official time, 2 minutes, 28 seconds into round number 3. The winner by submission, Linton the Swan Vassell.
He is back in the winner's circle. with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with your winner, Linton the Swarm Vassell. Emmanuel Newton, your first try at the title, you came up just short, a round short of being the champion. You said the pain of that loss motivated me to train, motivated me to find a new team. How much was that a factor in the biggest victory of your career tonight?
100%. Like, me losing that world title fight back in the day just made me a better athlete every time I trained and every fight. Sometimes I didn't get the actual performance, like I lost against Mo, but I beat Francis, but I didn't finish him. I just beat the former world champion. You know, all I'm going to say is, Phil Davis, Ryan Bader, where you at? This is UK Wrestling. Trust.
I was about to ask, you got a big fight coming up Madison Square Garden. Do you have a prediction for that fight? Do you care who wins? Because you think you have a date with them later.
Do you know what? I don't actually care who wins, because at the end of the day, I'll probably fight both of them at some point. So best man win out of them two, but I'm next. So, you know, I'm next.
Bring them on, Linton the Swarm Vassell, ladies and gentlemen.
The Taylor tape in the main event for the #1 contender spot at welterweight.
Look at the height advantage for Rory McDonald, but look at the reach. Exactly the same. That's a huge factor in this fight.
31 wins by finish, all by strikes for Paul Semtex Daley.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spike Sports presents Bellator MMA from London, England. The time has come for the main event of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Sanctioned by Mohegan Tribe, Department of Athletic Regulation. Chairman is Kevin Brown. At Cageside, Director Mike Mazzulli. Tonight's main event brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. It's Miller time. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 170.1 pounds, in his much-anticipated debut inside the Bellator cage, he stands with 18 professional victories, 4 defeats. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, presenting Rory the Red King Macdonald. And across the cage is adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'9", weighing in 170.8 pounds. The veteran professional tonight returns home to England with 39 professional victories, 14 defeats, and 2 draws. Hailing from Nottingham, England, introducing Paul Daley. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Big John McCarthy,
who famously refereed the Robbie Lawler fight 2 years ago.
Gentlemen, we got over the rules in the back. I want you to protect yourself at all times and obey my commands at all times. I want you to fight hard and fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good luck to both of you.
When you listen to the instructions with your hands up, you are ready to go.
This is a moment in this sport right now.
That's a statement.
Overhand right, followed by the level change. And remember, Paul Daley got hurt early in the Douglas Lima fight and never truly recovered.
He's working on his takedown defense with Kenny Johnson. He wrestled at Iowa. You can't fight the takedown of the Red King for long enough. Toes caught in his shorts. He's able to get it out. This is where Rory McDonald wanted this fight. On the ground, that's where he has a clear advantage. I don't care who you are, how good your kickboxing is, but Paul Daley, you're rolling the dice.
gets it and gets it very early in the round.
Macdonald does not play at dice.
Even the losses, and Rory Macdonald 18-4, so many of those fights coming at the highest level. Even the losses, the 2 knockout losses, Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit, he was winning those fights. The Carlos Condit loss came with 7 seconds left. That fight got stopped. A fight he would have won had it gone to the cards. I don't think there's any question that the Rory Macdonald we saw with Stephen Thompson last year was not Rory Macdonald.
Didn't fight with a lot of confidence in that fight. Looking confident so far tonight. So you have to wonder, what does Paul Semtex Daley have from this position? What's his strategy? Trying to scramble and stand up. It's gonna be hard to catch Rory Macdonald from your back. Already in half guard.
Fight IQ of Rory Macdonald. From the time he was, I mean, this is how he separated. It's hard physically to separate yourself from the other 12 and 13-year-olds, but he could think the game so quickly. That's why he was the first of this generation. That's why he was the first of his kind.
Grew up watching the sport, trained in MMA. Didn't come from a particular sports background, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, and make the transition to MMA. MMA was his sport.
Royce Gracie, who is here tonight, was basically the first to land on the moon. Rory Macdonald was riding the space shuttle. Guys were going back and forth. They were already there. It was next level.
Took a risk. He's giving up his back here.
How many chances are you going to get like that?
Yep. But that's the problem, is you commit to trying to explode your feet, you can give up bad positioning. You stay square, you're not going to get up, but your guard won't get past. Make no mistake, Rory Macdonald has an excellent pass. Full mount.
There it is.
Couldn't hold it.
And for a split second. Daley was messing around with Butterfly. He had a little sweep out of this position against Dennis Olsen 2 years ago. He was so proud of it, he kept talking about it.
This isn't Dennis Olsen.
That is the point. At this point, Paul Daley has to know the round is gone.
He's got to make sure he sees round 2.
Exactly.
Look at that ability to throw strikes and stay structurally composed. That's not an easy thing to do. Most people would strike or pass. He's so good at switching back and forth and doing both at the same time. Look at that base.
The import of Rory Macdonald starting fast. He's been fighting 5-round fights the last couple of years.
Yep.
Different dynamic. Still looking for an option. The round he's already got. Is he flirting with 10-8?
He's flirting with 10-8, yes. Had he passed guard,
yes,
gotten dominant position a few more times, I'd go 10-8 right now. 10-9 to me, but a wipeout.
Maybe the best first round. Probably Phil Davis against Kongo. I was trying to think of a best free agent first round.
Yeah,
but
this would be it.
The opponent, yeah.
Engaged just enough to set up the single leg, drove him right to the ground, and then pressure, pressure, pressure. Now credit Paul Daley, because Rory Macdonald never really got dominant position, wasn't able to pass, but ground and pound, short strikes, staying safe. Rory Macdonald's kind of round.
And staying safe in that position. More critical now in the looser 10-8.
Yep.
Speaking of 10s. So in your view, Paul Daley did enough to keep that 10-9?
Yeah, Rory MacDonald, or you could say Rory MacDonald didn't do enough to get a 10-8. Never passed guard, was never able to get dominant position for very long. Briefly flirted with Mount, but didn't land any big strikes. 10-9, definitely though, Rory MacDonald. I love what I'm seeing from the strikes. Rory MacDonald, nice head kick.
Another level change.
Just when Daley thought, oh, we can open up. Now it's a kickboxing match. That's when Rory goes to the takedown. Beautiful stuff. Right into side control.
Well, this has been impressive.
Yeah.
Josh Thompson was slow to start. No Ben Henderson, got run over by Andrei Koreshkov. Matt Mitrione won his debut, but he was coming off the ground and very nearly got knocked out. It is. Through 6 minutes, Rory MacDonald has been everything he said he would be.
See Paul Daley curling up, turning away. That is very, very dangerous. Can't defend those short strikes. If he turns anymore, he's going to give up his back. Also giving up that left arm. A little too aggressive with that mount step over. Paul Daley right now just desperate for space. He's not getting any.
Where would cage rust manifest itself in a game like Rory MacDonald's?
That's the hard. If he had been hesitant to strike, I would have suspected something. If he had been a gun shy with the takedown, fought from really far outside, that would have given it away. But he was confident with his strikes, and he set up his single leg. That's why he's here.
This is getting more and more impressive.
Bye-bye.
He got it.
Was that a debut or was that an audition for the title fight he is sure to be in the next time he steps into the Bellator cage?
He said with his Canadian confidence and his cold eyes that he was taken over. You can't make a bigger statement than the one Rory MacDonald just made.
Against the
cold,
champ.
Calculated, precise.
Against the champ. Douglas Lima. Paul Semtex Daley was competitive, had his moments, landed his strikes. This fight was a one-sided blowout for Rory MacDonald. Great stuff, confident on the feet, even more confident on the ground. But look at this step over here. Didn't have the hooks in, didn't matter. Underneath the chin, right there. Forget about that right hook, I don't need it. I'm under the chin, I'm squeezing. And that's a quick tap to a very tight rear naked choke. Forget the crowd, forget home field advantage. Rory MacDonald is still Rory MacDonald, my friends.
He keeps his emotions so close to the vest. But what a feeling that has to be for Rory MacDonald after going 2 years without a win. The resume of Rory MacDonald at age 27 is virtually unmatched. He beat the UFC World Champion Tyron Woodley, Damian Maia, BJ Penn, Nate Diaz, and he just rolls over Paul Daley in his Bellator debut.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a rear naked choke. Official time, 1 minute, 45 seconds into round number 2. The winner by submission, Rory, the Red King MacDonald.
The true north, strong and free agent, Rory MacDonald. Everything he said he would be is with Jimmy Smith.
I don't normally call you an emotional guy, but you are very, very happy right now. Talk about the emotions of having this promotional debut go so well for you.
Man, it's been a long time of layoffs, man. It's been a long 2 years, to be honest. It took a lot to stay focused, stay on track, focus in on what I was lacking in every department of my life. And I made sure that I checked off all those wrongs that I was doing, and it showed in the fight. I mean, Paul is one of the best guys that I've ever fought, and I had to be on point, at my best, and tonight I was at my best.
You engaged just enough to set up that takedown, but it looked like you were ready to hurt him, ready to kickbox, ready to step in with no fear. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, that's my style, man. Just whatever I see in the moment, I just strike. So that's what it was about tonight. Just being myself, letting it flow, and it all came out, and you can expect a lot more of that to come.
Speaking of more to come, Lorenz Larkin versus Douglas Lima at Madison Square Garden. What are your thoughts on that fight? What are your thoughts on taking on the winner?
Both great guys, both great fighters. It's going to be an amazing fight. I'll be there watching, but I guarantee you, I will take that belt from you, and I will take your health.
You want your health? Don't fight this man, the Red King, Rory Macdonald. Give it up for him.
We have watched free agents walk into Bellator and get surprised. Finally, Rory Macdonald comes out with a performance as impressive, maybe beyond our expectations. Paul Daley was on the wrong side tonight. He's with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with Paul Semtex. Daley, I know you're disappointed. Fight didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but this crowd behind you, and he stood and fought with you. I know that's what you want. I know you respect him, man.
I wouldn't say he stood and fought with me, and I don't think he would say he stood and fought with me. You know, like I said, Rory's a very tough guy, well-rounded, and he did what he had to do to win. You know, he's not stupid. There was a lot on the line here, and he played the safest way to get the win. He knows he's stronger on the ground than me, and he got the win, so he deserved it. He's a great fighter.
Coming up next, some great names at 170 pounds. You're still very much in the mix for title contention. What's next for you?
Who knows, but all I know is Michael Page is a pussy. I got some shit on him, but I ain't about to put that out in public. So if that pussy wants to get in this cage with me, next time here in Wembley, we could do it. Little pussy, keeps getting injured, leg this, eye that, pussy.
You know that's Paul Semtex Daley. Give it up for him.